warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Anda bersama dengan saya Fatin.
Dan saya Elena Sofia.
Anda sedang menyaksikan Girls Out Loud. It's all about girls thing.
I like that so much.
Yes.
Hi, how are you guys?
Ya, apa khabar semua? Mungkin dah ramai yang balik kan?
Hari ni
dah
sebab-
cuti kan?
Yes, hari ni is the starting point untuk orang balik. Tadi pun
Betul.
UIA dah jam, semua student nak
betul
balik.
ke?
Yes, so
Wow.
macam malam ni pun rasanya semua orang membawa kesedihan itu sebab malam ni hujan sangat lebat.
Betul, sangat-sangat lebat,
Yes.
kilat menyambung, apa benda lah semua tu kan. Jadi El, minggu lepas El bersama dengan Syira kan,
Yes, minggu
berbincang
lepas-
dengan topik apa El?
Kita berbincang tentang topik depression, and for those yang dah tengok, we have discussed in terms of ADHD and MDD, and we have discussed on how we want to know about depression and people and how to cure them actually.
Yes. So this week kita bawakan satu topik yang sangat-sangat menarik dan juga penting untuk kita sebagai sebagai as a human being lah.
Yes.
Untuk tahu pasal topik ni, fokusnya kepada bukan sahaja wanita tetapi untuk wanita dan juga lelaki. Sebab topik ni sangat-sangat orang cakap berat, sangat-sangat memberi sesuatu untuk anda tahu. Anda perlu tahu sebab cerita ni sangat penting.
Yes.
Jadi untuk kupaskan topik Paedophile awareness ni, kita bersama dengan Miss
Guest kita
Pamilia.
hari ni. Yes.
Apa khabar?
Baik.
Welcome
Thank
to
you so
Girls
much.
Out Loud.
Thank you.
Alright.
Thank you for organizing this.
Okay, for your information, Miss Pamilia is one of the lecturer in Department of Psychology. So kita nak minta Miss Pamilia introduce apa yang Miss Pamilia tengah buat sekarang, what is the subject that you teach here, right? So you can now.
Okay, hi everyone. So at the moment, I am a lecturer at the Department of Psychology, KIRKHS. At the moment, I am teaching developmental psychology, also experimental psychology dengan sport psychology. So if any of you are interested to minor in psychology or take elective courses, please, you are welcome.
and meet you.
Yeah, actually to share with you juga, I do not know if you know, I did my master's here and then also my PhD here.
Wow.
So I am an alumni, faithful IUM.
So in which university are you taking your undergraduate?
Undergraduate was Deakin University.
Wow.
Alright, so we already know who is Miss Pamilia, one of the lecturer in Department of Psychology. So we want to ask you about pedophile awareness. So you can you brief us what is pedophile actually? Then maybe some of us out there doesn't know what is it, and even not know it is exists.
Yes. Even sometimes people are not aware of pedophilia who are around them.
Yes.
So maybe Ms. Pamilia can actually advise and give definition on what pedophilia is.
Okay, I think a lot of times we mistake pedophilia with child sexual abuse. Sometimes there's a little bit of a gray area there, but if you really look up what pedophilia really means, it has been termed as a disorder actually. Pedophilia comes under the umbrella of paraphilia. So paraphilia, if you check the DSM-5, right, and the DSM is actually a diagnostic statistical manual for psychologists. This is the kind of, like, you can say, the manual for how we would diagnose a disorder. And if you see that this manual, right, paraphilia actually, it talks a lot about these abnormal sexual urges that people have, these fetishes that people have towards things that are not usually, normal and they're more carnal in nature. And so pedophilia would come under this, and it is characterized by recurrent sexual urges and fantasies towards prepubescent children. And this would be characterized by the age group of below 13 and below. And they have these fantasies and urges, and they are recurrent. And these fantasies can also be acted upon. That means they may or may not act upon these fantasies and urges. They may just have these fantasies and think about it and have this urge, but they may not act on it. Or they might act on it, resulting in the child sexual abuse. And how do we know if a person can really be characterized as having this disorder is by checking whether do they really have their functioning impaired? If their functioning is impaired, and then if this disorder, this condition is causing them distress, psychological distress, or it's really affecting their interpersonal relationships. Psychosocially, they cannot function. So then you know, okay, they have this particular disorder, and now it's called pedophilic disorder.
Pedophilic disorder.
Yeah.
Disorder.
So
Wow.
that is one of the main ways you can know that they come under this category.
There's many cases in Malaysia, especially on Nurin Jasmine, whereby the issue of pedophile, she's being sexually abused when she was younger, and that's how she was being kidnapped.
Yes.
And it's a very saddening for the Malaysian society to actually face this kind of issues. But actually, want to know basically, pedophile, is it as you said, it's an anxiety and a disorder. So if somebody has a pedophile has these urges, how do you actually see this person? I mean, how do you signify that he's a pedophile? Again, because of the characteristic of that they have. Apart from that, if it's normal people, how do you actually see?
How do we
actually detect
Yes.
the
Yeah,
pedophile?
how do we know that we're sitting beside a pedophile?
Yeah.
Somebody with pedophilic disorder in the train. How
Yeah.
do we know? It's that's the kind of like tricky part, we don't really know exactly what goes on in a person's mind and heart unless they actually confess it and say it out. So the only thing we have are nonverbal signs of behavior, because this is very much something to do with urges and fantasies and the wishes that they have inside. So we can't really see the urges, we can't really see what's in their mind unless it
They
is
act.
exhibited and manifested in some way. One of the ways it can be manifested or exhibited is perhaps if we happen to come across any files in their laptop or a pen drive, then we can see that, okay, there's a lot of content. I think even recently there were cases in Malaysia, right? I think there was a case where a student was overseas, is it?
Yes,
yes.
a PhD student.
about
It was quite sad also, but I do not know exactly what happened to him at the moment right now. I do not know if it was diagnosed as a disorder, because if it was, then he definitely needs to get some help as well. So I feel concerned when I see things like that, actually, because there might be a lot of people out there who are going through this, and maybe they keep it to themselves because perhaps they feel,
The society expectation on them.
yeah, of course society wouldn't accept them at the moment, most people, I mean. So they probably might be feeling a sense of, I'm dirty, I'm disgusting. They
being
might,
isolated.
yes, if they have this disorder. So those of them who have this disorder, they would normally feel like debilitated by this disorder, and they would feel kind of like imprisoned by this. So in terms of detecting, I would say it's very tricky to know that. The only thing we have is nonverbal signs and this kind of manifestations that we can see in them.
Okay. We also like to ask who is actually responsible for this awareness.
For the awareness, right? For spreading awareness, I think I would say all of us. Everyone is responsible. If you look at the whole mesosystem and microsystem, it starts with a nucleus family. So it starts with like the parent and both the parents educating the children, and then going on to schools, and then society, friends, even organizations. I think everyone plays a part in spreading this awareness. It needs to be normalized to spread this awareness so that people are aware.
So everyone is involved to create awareness for this kind of people. So you say just now, pedophile is a group of people that won't touch the kid. There's no act. It's just urges.
They can act on it. They can touch the kid as well. I mean, it's just to say that pedophilia, like if you compare that with child sexual abuse, the main difference is the difference of behavior. So child sexual abuse, they would act upon it.
Okay.
And then for pedophilia, they would have the urge. They may or may not act upon it. So the main characteristic is urge here, and child sexual abuse is the act.
If let's say, if let's say the pedophile actually act upon what he's doing, is that considered as abusive?
Yeah, so then he will become, he will then be exhibiting child sexual abuse. Then he'll be committing child sexual abuse. So you can say that not all child sexual abuse offenders have pedophilic disorder. And not all people with pedophilic disorder will commit child sexual abuse. So it depends.
Okay.
Not necessarily all of them who are child sexual abuse offenders have that urge towards children. Yeah.
Really? But they're actually abusing the children, so they don't have these urges?
Because sometimes it depends on the intention.
Oh,
What
okay.
exactly is their intention? Is their intention to release their sexual urge, and at that moment they choose somebody in a vulnerable situation? Or is their intention really, I'm targeting kids? That would be the difference.
Their intention
Jadi macam banyak yang Miss Pamilia dah cakap mengenai
mengenai
pedophilia ni baru mula dia kan.
dia baru mula.
Ni
Dia dah
baru
rasa
mula.
macam
Kita dah macam there's a lot of thing lagi nak tanya kan.
Yes.
Macam kita akan kembali lagi selepas ni, banyak lagi yang nak kita tanya Miss Pamilia.
So
Jadi
jangan ke mana-mana. Stay with
Berehat
us.
seketika.
That's out loud.
Kembali lagi bersama kami dalam Girls Out Loud. Seperti yang mana kita dah mula tadi, kita dah berbincang tentang tajuk pedophile awareness ni kan. Tetamu kita dah ceritakan brief macam mana apa itu pedophile awareness ni dan juga siapa itu pedophile ni.
Yes. Sebab sekarang ni kita ada grey area actually. Kita tak sure nak bezakan pedophile ataupun child sexual abuse. So regarding that, we actually nak tanya Miss Pamilia lah regarding child sexual abuse. In which country actually has the most pedophile issues in the country?
When you look at the survey, what they show is that among some of the countries that exhibit the highest amount of pedophilia content in their websites and spreading around is actually, it was found to be Europe. In Europe, but this is according to the survey that they found, in terms of content and websites. So about 60% of their content, in terms of website spreading of information, falls under the category. This country of the Europe, countries, and for lowest amount, they have said to be UK, Sweden, Canada. So I'm not sure if this is going to be the latest survey results. Because pedophilia is kind of hard to actually measure in terms of the urge, unless the person actually reveals themselves and goes for the to report it. If it's child sexual abuse cases, that
It's
one they can
very obvious.
report. They can actually measure by amount of police cases reported. Tapi kalau pedophilia, we don't really have a very 100% sure. Unless they actually report it and confess it, and so from the statistics, it kind of shows this particular range at the moment.
I'd like to also share actually in Twitter they have discussed pedophile issues, and the most common is in Europe, and they found out that in the pedophile actually share all of this content, explicit content, through dark web. For those who actually doesn't know what dark web is, I would not advise you to Google it because it's a very, very explicit, and it's very hard for you to go inside, to go into deep with that. So that's how they actually shares all of this information and how the pedophile actually unites in the website.
website.
So it's very, very hard to actually.
Alright, so I want to ask Miss Pamilia, what is there any organization in UAE itself that focus on this awareness?
In UIA, thankfully, thanks to God, we have this wonderful person. her name, we met her the other day, Farzana Ridwan, I think.
Okay.
She is the founder and also the director now, because it is now a formal organization. It is called Monsters Among Us, MAU. So actually, we are so proud of her to have someone from IIUM who actually founded this beautiful organization. It is to help children stand up for their rights and for child protection and safety. So it's nice to know that there are organizations like this out there. So anyone wanna do outreach programs, maybe you can contact her and ask her how you can reach out and spread more awareness actually through her. I think that would be a really good idea. There are also other organizations in Malaysia like Awam and also Women's Aid Organization. So also there is I think Protect and Save Society, something like that society. So yeah, there are many organizations out there nowadays that to do that. So it's very important for us to, if you notice something is amiss and not right, and you feel like someone might be in danger, it's good to
Actually
get some help.
Yeah, get some help. Even voice out what you are concerned about.
Yeah.
Don't just keep it to yourself, because when you keep it to yourself, the problem never solved.
Right.
Yes.
So I want to ask, what are the range of age that that person can be considered as pedophile?
According to law and also like in the diagnosis, right? What they consider to be under pedophilic disorder, for them to be actually diagnosed as that, they would have to be a minimum age of 16. And then they would have, their victim would be at least about 5 years younger than them. So the minimum age is 16. So I think what they're trying to say is that maybe because this is the age where they would be considered as having the awareness and so this is when they know that this particular thing is not particular, like it's not something that a child is experimenting in anymore. This is something that the person has awareness. So at 16 you can say that they can already be diagnosed as having pedophilic disorder.
Because in that age they can have that awareness that I cannot do this, I can do. They can difference that thing.
Yeah, they can kind of differentiate that. It's how we have heard and seen some kids being very curious and then maybe trying to suddenly peek and see another kid. So that one would be considered as a child's age, right? But for this one, they would have a cutoff age of 16, and then that's how we know about that.
I think because the age of 16 is very mature enough to actually understand about how the problematic pedophile is. Now, we would like to ask, exactly in Malaysia, basically, where does this cases actually happen? Does it in kindergarten or at house? In most cases, where does this happen actually?
If let's say in Malaysia, right? I think before, maybe many years ago, from the cases that I've read before and also encountered, a lot of times it is in a very familiar environment. A lot of times, it is someone who is close to them, either in a family setting. It may not be their own house, but it might be in a family setting. It might be their relative's house, or it might be their own house but another relative. It may not necessarily be the direct relationship with the parents. It might be the next of kin. Most of the cases that I have found, it is usually someone very close and familiar and at a position of trust. Unfortunately and sadly,
someone that we think that would never do that is the one that do that.
Yes, and ironically, right, it's usually at a place that is not secret. It's not even like a secretive place. It can just be the room, even with the door open. It can be any place as simple as that. It can just happen so easily. It can also be the classroom, but from the amount of cases, a lot of it usually are in a very familiar environment. Sometimes even between relatives. It can also be between cousins, if they have that particular age, like it can even be as simple as that. But lately, what I notice is, it can be also that happening. That still can happen as well. But I think they have, progressed and gone into technology now. Like what you said, the website.
Yes.
And now also the apps.
Wow.
Like there are various apps now. I actually know a teenager who told me that she's a minor, and she told me that she was approached by a mature man who actually told her that I have a part-time job for you.
Oh yeah.
You heard about things like that,
Yes,
right?
I heard about that.
So she said
It's
she's
very scary.
and she's a minor, and it's a Malaysian app. I think it's a Malaysian app because these are all Malaysians involved in it. And then he said that so it's good for you to spread this awareness, okay, to anyone you know that. And then he actually said to her, I have a part-time job for you. You only have to do counseling with me, towards me in the weekend.
Okay.
And it pays about 4,000 ringgit.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a lot
Per month.
of money.
And then she's a minor. So she said, boy, wow, really? Biar betul? I can get so much? Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful.
Just being
yes,
with him, weekend,
Yeah.
got 4,000.
I did not know what's the job about, but he said counseling. So all these words sound so safe to her. So she's
Yes,
like,
yes.
why not? She was thinking about it. Thank God she asked her friend in the asrama.
Mm.
And then her friend said, are you crazy? This is called sugar daddy.
People
So-
would say that it's a sugar daddy, but in a proper way, it's something pedophilic disorder.
Yeah, I mean, this particular person. So once again, not all sugar daddies might be pedophilic
Okay.
disorder,
Okay.
but you're right.
Yes,
He
yes.
might be one.
He might be one, true.
He
true,
might,
true.
because he's already acting upon that, and he's targeting a minor when he can go after. It's possible what you're saying. So she did not know that until her friend told her what it means.
Oh.
So when I heard that also, and she told me, I really got a shock that they are targeting all these young
Young.
teenagers
Yeah.
at such a young age and through the app.
Oh
So
my god.
I think we need to really spread awareness about this, because otherwise
Yes.
they don't know at
Yes.
all.
Yes.
Especially for parents out there, parents who are watching this, Girls Out Loud, we would like to actually express how important for you to actually teach and watch what your kids are doing, because as we have been told you, we have apps, that internet that
Yes.
actually spread this kind of issues. So
That we don't even realize that
Yes.
things happen, right?
So for parents, be aware of what your child is doing, be
Yes.
aware of what they are watching, be aware of whom they are talking to.
yes. So I want to ask, in this Malaysia, when this pedophile is being spread, like when people know there is a pedophile here in Malaysia.
The awareness of it.
Yeah.
The awareness, I think, at the moment, it's still not as rampant enough. I think we can still do more to spread the awareness, because a lot of people don't really know that there's a difference actually between pedophilia and child sexual abuse. They just feel that, oh no, this person is not going to do that to my kid. Of course not. So because they feel like this person is not going to abuse my child. Of course he's not going to abuse my child. I trust this person so much. So when they do that, they don't realize that there is a difference. Yes, he may not abuse your child, but he might have this disorder, which might put your child at risk of being abused if you keep sending your child to the person. There are a lot of people who trust a lot of other people. You will be surprised at what I hear. Like they trust their child to be taken care of to the extent of being babysat by the opposite sex,
Oh my god.
and including bathing them. So they really trust their child with the opposite sex to be bathed by them. They feel like, no, nothing is bad is gonna happen. Don't think that way. How can you think that way?
I'm your relative.
Exactly. That is
There's-
the sensitive issue actually,
True.
because they feel like you are questioning this relative. You are questioning this relative. How can you do that?
In terms of trust, in terms of how you
trust.
want to
It's
all
communicate
about
with them.
trust.
Yes.
So sometimes it could be not having a disorder, but sometimes it could be the disorder, or why would we put our children in that risk situation? So I think for parents, right, you can never be too careful at all. I would say trust no one. Just be, pray, and just be, protect your children.
Is it wrong if I say that maybe the relative itself, himself or herself, doesn't know that he has or she has that kind of
You are right.
feeling?
That is a very good point that you said actually, because they may not even know it yet. They may not. They might think, oh yeah, why am I thinking all this?
I just like the kids. I just like how the kids walks. Maybe he or she itself doesn't know that he is the one that have disorder, right?
You are right. That's actually very true. They may not realize it. They might have seen signs in themselves, but they might have been in denial all this
Yes.
while, until a certain age. Then they realize, like, something is happening. So actually, that's a very good point. We all need to be aware. That's why they say monsters among us,
Yes,
right?
we have to be aware of what happened
Kita akan
between
sambung lagi nak sembang pasal benda ni. Jadi jangan ke mana. Kembali lagi selepas ini dalam Girls Out Loud. So tadi kita ada satu preview berkaitan dengan convocation yang
Yes.
ke-35 di UAE ni kan.
Yes. Kalau dulu kita dikenalkan dengan nama Starnet, sekarang kita diperkenalkan dengan nama
I
Congrats. So for
Congrats.
those yang ada adik-beradik, sepupu sepapat, boyfriend girlfriend, jangan lupalah support lah I Congrats. And for
Ya,
those,
betul.
and kita memang it's a very huge event in IIUM, and we would like to congratulate those who will be graduating. All the best, and we wish you good luck in your future endeavours.
Yes. Jadi kita nak sambung balik. Macam tadi pun macam dah panas ada benda yang nak tanya tapi tak tersampai sebab kita berehat seketika kan. Jadi kita nak sambung bertanya kepada tetamu kita pada hari ini, Miss Pamilia. Okay. Jadi just now we talk about even the relative himself or herself doesn't know that they have
these urges.
These urges. So how we want to create that among us, among the family?
So for the family to recognize, I think just like we may not be able to know the urges and the wishes and what they might be thinking or feeling, but I think just by observing the nonverbal behavior, just by watching how they are, and then also maybe if you notice some signs like the person always wants to be with kids, but that doesn't always mean that there's something wrong. Sometimes they just might love kids. I mean, but you can notice when they play with kids. How do they play? I mean, what kind of play are they engaged in? Is it always a lot of inappropriate touching, or is it just normal playing? So if you notice something inappropriate suddenly you notice like something looks off, something doesn't look right. It's good for you to reach out to the person and say, how do you feel actually? Can I just know what's going on? Because just now I noticed some kind of, touching happening. I'm just wondering what's going on, Like for example, let's say the kid is already quite big. I mean, may not be puberty yet, but quite big, and then they still are putting that child, like maybe 11 or 12 years old, let's say, or 11, putting the child on the lap, and then the way they caress or touch is like not appropriate. So if you notice something like that happening, then you can know that, okay, maybe I should have a talk with this person and find out what they're going through. Like you said, they may not even know why they have that urge to do that, but they have that urge to do that. So I think trying to reach out to them, because not alienating them, but reaching out to them so that at least they can get help. They don't even know they need help. Maybe they need some kind of help as well.
That's on the part of the
How to
abuser,
identify.
actually. We actually want to ask if these parents actually need to actually teach their children on sexual education so that the children are aware if they're touching certain sensitive parts. Should parents actually tell the kids at how age should parents teach
at
the
what
kids?
age?
So usually, I noticed that it's very important for parents to have this kind of education to the kids. I mean, it's never too early or young to start. I think you can, as long as they can understand, they can comprehend. You can already tell them and teach them that make sure that these are the areas that nobody can touch. We used to do that last time in HKL. When I was practicing there last time, there were kids also. And then normally, if there's an abuse case, we would kind of have a chart with a picture of a stick man, right? But it's, let's say, a picture of just imagine a gingerbread man picture. And then we would say, okay, imagine this is you, this is adik. So these are the areas that adik tak boleh biarkan orang pegang. These are the areas that you must make sure you take care. Nobody can touch this. Not even ayah, no one can touch this. This is only for you and ibu je can, like when I bathe you. So make sure that nobody can ever, you give that kind of awareness. So I think at that age you can know how to explain depending on the age. So at least they grow up with that awareness, and then they know. And I think, right, even after doing that, I really personally feel it's important for the parents now and then, the mom maybe, to just ask the child like, how are you, everything okay, and to have heart-to-heart session. Because whenever you keep having this close relationship, the child will be
Feel
open.
secure.
Yeah, they feel secure, and if anything happens, they will be very open to share with you. There was one kid who suddenly opened up to us. We were just asking, how are things in your classroom? And then she just said, oh, things are okay. I said like, are there also boys in your classroom? What happens? It was just a sembang chat, I think we were actually drawing something. That is a good technique for parents to use actually. This heart-to-heart serious conversation can be done in the sembang manner, whereby you are coloring or you are drawing something together. You are doing an activity where you're not having direct eye contact. Then when we were doing that, right, suddenly she said, yeah, sometimes in my class kan, ada juga yang main pegang-pegang. And then she is like below 12 actually. And then she said I was like trying not to freak out. Then I said, oh, who did that? Siapa yang buat macam tu? And then she said, adalah classmate yang buat macam tu. Tiba-tiba dia pegang my friends, my friend's chest. And then they commented on my chest also. So that is when we told her like, when did this happen, by the way? And then
you start to correct.
Yeah, slowly in a nice, without freaking her out. Because if we're like, kenapa tak bagi tahu? She's not going to tell you next time.
Obviously.
Because it's like, now you are getting angry with her. So you just have to be very calm and very, just make it like a very natural like conversation. Tapi after that you inform her, if anything like that happen again, bagi tahu kat ibu. Tell me, please let me know, because dia tak sepatutnya buat macam tu. It's not okay actually. So please let me know next time if anything. Bagi tahu kat cikgu or something like that. Because they don't know tau. They just keep quiet. They're so
Sometimes they
innocent.
feel afraid also. That's the whole reason why they're afraid to tell.
If there are any young kids watching kan, if you ever feel like someone has done something to you, right, tell someone you can trust. Maybe kalau parents you feel like embarrassed kan, tell your kakak or tell someone you can trust. Dekat sekolah ada counselor
Or
ke,
a teacher.
Teacher yang you boleh trust, because a lot of times kids will feel like this tau. They will feel, I'm dirty. Like, why did this happen to me? I feel so disgusted with myself. They just want to forget about it. They were like, no, it never happened. I don't want to think about it. They won't tell the parents most of the time. So please tell someone. And if parents can sometimes ask, right? I do not know if this is appropriate in all situations, but now and then you can ask your kid, ada tak anyone interested in you? Actually, that's how the conversation started with that girl.
True.
Are you sure?
Ada boyfriend tak? Things like that.
Yeah. Anyone interested tak? Anyone yang macam, selalu suka like ejek-ejek you kat sekolah? Anyone yang macam suka main pegang-pegang tak macam tu? Slowly. It's not like you say anybody abuse you. You can say anyone yang suka main pegang-pegang macam tu tak? Then you slowly open the topic. You'll be surprised they might actually confess to you. So that is very important, I think, for parents to know juga. And just now you asked something interesting juga tau. You said like, what if the person doesn't know, right? So what if you are watching now?
And you are the one that is pedophilic disorder.
Yeah, and I don't want you to feel like you are bad or you are abnormal. I mean, it's what you're going through is not a normal thing, but it doesn't mean you are abnormal. We have to take out the stigma of labeling you. There's no label of you. You separate yourself from the disorder. So I would prefer not to. Biasanya kan, we don't call a person like he is a pedophilic macam tu tau, because we want to separate the disorder from him. So we said he has pedophilic disorder. So if you have that, it doesn't mean you are that label forever. It just means that you are going through that at the moment, and you can get help. So how do you know if you have it? If you keep having this urge or sexual urges or fantasies towards prepubescent children, below 13, and you keep fantasizing about 8-year-olds or 12-year-olds or 11-year-olds, maybe you accidentally watched a video, and ever since that time you cannot stop thinking about that particular age group. If you keep watching videos like that, right, you are reinforcing that tau. You are kind of like reinforcing that. You would need to get some help actually. But I just want you to know that you can get help. You are not dirty or disgusting. You can get help. So if you keep having this urge and it's going on for 6 months already, then you can know that this is actually, you need to get some help. This can be classified as having that pedophilic disorder. And you can get help. You really can. You're not alone. You can actually seek a lot of treatment. I know some people who had that urge, towards 8-year-olds because they were watching that kind of video. So they felt like they like to see that particular kind of, early bloomers, if you know what I mean. The girls who are early blooming.
Okay.
They don't have the urge towards a woman.
An adult woman.
Yeah, like because they are so used to watching like child porn. So they don't have that urge towards like a well-developed woman. So they feel like turned on watching a young girl who is early blooming, like just developing, so certain kind of organs. So they felt like, and they kept on watching that. Then later on, when they stopped that, and they got help, or maybe they started to like get better, right? They don't have that kind of urge anymore. So, I mean, I'm not sure if it can be that simple for you, but you can definitely get help for that.
True. But
Yeah.
most obviously, don't actually, when you know you're like that kind of stuff, don't keep on repeating watching that, because when you repeat, all of this repetition will actually remain in your mind.
Yeah, it will
Yeah.
reinforce it, and then you become immune to it. Macam you need more to get stimulated.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's good for you to seek some help. Like, you can definitely get help for that.
Like you just say, there are a lot of organization out there that can help you if you've got this. It's just macam you need to move.
Yes,
You need to make a move. Macam tu.
Okay, we would like to also ask actually, if let's say sometimes parents, they are a bit embarrassed to actually teach their children about sexual things, like sexual organs and things like that. And some of the children actually, when they have been touched in certain appropriate way, the parents teach them, okay, say ice cream, or like, you know, the terms that are being used is very wrong, and those who are doesn't familiar with the term will not understand what the child is talking about. So yeah, like I think it's the best for the parents to actually be honest with the children, let them know their organs, and let them understand why is that important for them to actually appreciate their organs, and for them not to let anyone abuse that part.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. You know, they say like, you know, don't call it like worm. Call it what it is. This is the organ. This is what it's called. So if you do that, you are really going like to the anatomy, and you are really telling them these are things that you need to take care of. These are things that you can touch, and I mean, you know, these are things that you must not, you know, allow people to touch. And so this is only for you when you clean your body. Like how to have that awareness for them, right? I think that's important. Yeah, it's very important for them to know that. Otherwise, they might even experiment on things at a young age with other young kids who they may not even understand why they have that feeling.
Yes, true. So actually, we talk a lot about this pedophile. I think there is more that need to talk about, but we have come to the end of our show tonight. Jadi banyak sebenarnya yang kita dah bincangkan dan kita korek daripada Miss Pamilia sendiri kan, berkaitan dengan pedophile issue ni kan. Kita dah tahu ni pedophile issue ni dia kena berumur daripada pedophilic disorder ni daripada umur 16 tahun dan ke atas barulah dia boleh diklarifikasikan sebagai pedophile. Ataupun mungkin setengah orang tak tahu yang dia sendiri tu adalah pedofila. Dan juga kalau anda ada perasaan yang macam dah diberitahu Miss Pamilia tadi kan, macam you non-stop, tak boleh tengok tu dah sampai tempoh 6 bulan kan, you need to seek for help.
You have to seek for help.
Yes, ada banyak organisasi dekat luar sana yang nak tolong kita. Cuma kita je yang kena make a move. Alright. Kan? Jadi sebelum nak menutup Girls Out Loud pada malam ini, saya nak berterima kasih dan kepada backdrop kita pada musim kali ini, iaitu Jatimas.
Thank you so
dan juga
much.
sponsor kita from Nice. Thank you so much untuk sponsorkan Girls Out Loud musim ini.
Yes.
Dan juga jangan lupa untuk follow kita dekat mana?
Follow kita dekat kita punya YouTube channel. Follow, subscribe, and also like our page. And follow us on our IAM TV.
Yes.
Like Instagram. Do we have Twitter?
No.
Okay. Okay. On YouTube channel and also on Instagram. Don't forget to follow us on Girls Out Loud.
Yes.
And if you have any question, you may also reach to Miss Pamilia. She's from Department of Psychology.
Ataupun anda ada nak cadangkan tajuk-tajuk baru kan, anda boleh tulis kat komen kat awal. Jadi kita nak terima kasih pada Miss Pamilia sekali lagi sudi datang hari ini. Yes. Kita jumpa lagi minggu hadapan. Minggu 2 kali lagi.
Sebab minggu depan dah Miss Break.
Yes.
So,
bye. Assalamualaikum.
Bye.